Okay, next we're going to take our cleaned copper pieces. We're going to put them on our little trivet. And I put it on the catch tray. And the reason I use catch trays is because enamel is very expensive and I don't like to waste my money. So each Frit kit that we sell comes with a base, unless you already have colors that you prefer to use. Today we're using the white base that comes with the football colors. Basically, you'll load up your little sifter and gently go back and forth until your little items are covered. Very simple. You'll notice that I did not put any solution to hold it in place. At this point, we really don't need solution. And right now I'm working on the back side of my pieces. This will be the back side. I always do the back side first. So there you go. It's that easy to sift your first coat. Okay, so now I'm back over to my kiln area. I've taken my tray over here. I'm going to go ahead and remove these from the catch tray and put them directly onto my metal. Go ahead and put my safety mitts on. And these little football helmets are going back into the kiln. Now we'll put these in the kiln and they will fire until our thermometer says 1350, and we'll leave them at 1350 for approximately 1 minute. So while we're waiting for our pieces to fire in the kiln, I brought the tray back over and basically I'm putting all my enamel back into the little enamel area. This way nothing is wasted. Okay, we're back in the kiln now. We're going to pull our copper pieces out. It's very important that we allow these to cool off. So right now we're just going to leave these here. You can see that the first layer has kiln fired very nicely. In a few minutes after these cool off, we'll be applying our second layer of enamel. So you can see that our first layer of enamel went on really beautiful, and you can see that the back sides, well, they're not so pretty, but you don't have to worry. All you need to do is rinse them off a little bit. In this case, we don't need them shiny because we're not gonna work on the dirty side. The only reason I rinse them off is I don't want this fire scale popping up and going on the tops of our beautiful whites. Okay, that's the only reason I'm wetting these a little bit. I'll dry them a little bit and we'll go back over to the sifting area. Okay, so we're back from the sink now and we're preparing our little helmets for our second coat of enamel, which will go on the back side. So again, you put them on your little enameling catch tray. You load your sifter. And you'll notice I'm not using anything on the bottom to stabilize them or to hold the enamel in place. I don't really find a need to. If you feel like you have to, no problem. You can use your hairspray or your gum paste or your kiln fire. But at this point, we don't really need it. Okay, so we're ready to go back into the kiln again. Okay, we're back over to the kiln area now. I'm going to take them off the enameling catch trays. Move the helmets onto my middle base. Put my gloves on for safety. Into the kiln. Okay, so this is our second coat of enamel on the back side. We're going to go ahead and allow the kiln to go up to 1350 and allow the enamel to become wonderful. So now while the pieces, the little helmets are cooling off, I'm going to go ahead and bring the catch tray back over and go ahead and put my enamel back in there. Especially with white, I like to do this each time so it doesn't get dirty or get fire scale on it. The fire scale does get on. You can just dampen your finger a little bit, tap it, and take it off. Or you can actually put it into your sifter and sift it back in and dump out any fire scale that might have gotten on here. So far we've been lucky today, so we've had no problems. But this is a great way to save your enamels from getting contaminated. Okay, I'm doing this to make a point. Each time that I allow my pieces to cool after each firing, I always rinse my pieces off. And the reason is if I don't rinse them off, what happens is the back of these guys get fire scale. If you'll notice, I did not clean any of these. So what you're seeing here is the fire scale that's actually coming off the backs of our pieces. So be sure in between each firing, after the pieces have cooled off completely, to go ahead and wash them a little bit with soap and water and dry them good. Alright, our pieces have cooled off. We've washed them a little bit, and now it's time to put another coat on the back. Now if you have a little chipping, like this one here has a little chipping, no, not to worry. It's not the end of the world. Just go ahead and add a little extra in that area. There we go. Make sure that you get nice and close to the holes too. Don't be afraid of them. If it ever gets clogged up or if you put too much on, just take a little toothpick and go in the hole. Make sure that your holes are always open. But these look good, and now they'll go back into the kiln. While our pieces are in the kiln, I bring the catch tray back. Just want to save all my enamel. That easy. Okay, so our pieces have been here a couple minutes, 1350. And you officially have the back sides of your helmets done. Now we'll let these cool off for a few minutes. Now that these have cooled off some, let's go ahead and take them over the sink and wash them. Rinse them off. Go ahead and you'll see that we have a little bit of coloration there, not much. Sand them lightly. And we don't need to make them perfectly clean. All we're trying to do is get any fire scale that might pop off. This is just a wet, dry sandpaper you can get anywhere. Home Depot, Lowe's, Harbor Freight, one of my favorite stores. Love you, Harbor Freight, guys. I know a little bit will do you. You don't need a big piece. Rinse them off. And now we're ready to do the front sides of them. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about trivets. Trivets are similar to copper in that they can get fire scale. So now and then, if you have a lot of pieces and you see that there's fire scale getting on your pieces despite cleaning the copper every single time, this might be a great tip for you. Simply put your tray into the water, that gets some of it out, or rinse them off. Now do this when they're cool, not when they're hot, obviously, because you don't want to get burnt. And then let them dry naturally. They don't even have to be dry when you put them back in the kiln, but at least this gets any fire scale off of there. You don't need to sand them or anything, but this will help eliminate some of the fire scale that can get on top of your pieces. Okay, we're back now. Now the trivets have been rinsed off, and the back of our helmets have been rinsed off and sanded very gently. So we're going to go ahead, put it back on our enamel catch tray and prepare. Now remember that now we are working on the front side. We're going to go ahead and take our top layer, and back into the kiln we go. So now we're going to go ahead and move our helmets back onto our middle firing device, put on our gloves for safety, and go ahead and put our helmets back in for another firing. We're going to go ahead and keep these in the kiln. Well, our temperature that we're looking for is 1350, and we're looking for 1 to 2 minutes on these. And again, this is the front side. Okay, so our helmets are looking really good. They've been in the kiln for a little while at 1350. Now they're going to cool off, and when we come back, we're going to teach you on how to properly apply your frit color. Now sometimes when you're kiln firing, your pieces can get stuck to the trivets, especially if you've done two sides. This is a common thing, nothing to be afraid or upset about. Simply tip it over and your piece will come off. Okay, see how it seems like it's stuck? No worries. Problem solved. So our pieces have cooled off enough that I can touch them. You can see this is the back side. We have two coats of our enamel on there. And you can easily see that this is our front side because we have some bare spots. But do not fear, the top coat and the color is coming near. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse these off and dry them off, and we're going to go back to the enamel station.